It was the night of April 1st, 2006. A young medical student named Brian Shaffer walked into a popular bar in Columbus, Ohio. And then, he vanished. Not into thin air, not into a crowd. He was seen entering the bar on surveillance cameras. But there is no footage of him ever coming out. It was as if the building swallowed him whole. To this day, no one knows where Brian Shaffer went, or what happened in those final moments before he disappeared. Brian was 27 years old, tall, athletic, with a wide smile. He was studying at Ohio State University College of Medicine, preparing for a promising future. But behind his cheerful personality, Brian was carrying grief. His mother had died of cancer just weeks before his disappearance. Those close to him said he was devastated, but still trying to move forward. That Friday night, Brian decided to go out. Classes were tough, stress was high, and maybe he just needed a break. He went with a friend, William Clint Florence, and later met up with another, Meredith. Together, they visited several bars before ending up at a place called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. That's where the story turns chilling. Surveillance cameras showed Brian arriving at the Ugly Tuna just before 2 a.m. He's seen laughing, walking up an escalator, and heading inside. Minutes later, he steps out briefly to talk with two women. The footage captures him smiling, relaxed, and then going back inside the bar. That was the last confirmed sighting of Brian Shaffer. When the bar closed at 2:30 a.m., Brian's friends searched for him. They assumed he left ahead of them, maybe walked home. But by morning, Brian was still missing. Calls to his phone went unanswered. He didn't show up for a scheduled trip with his girlfriend Alexis. And by Monday, concern turned to panic. Police began their search. They quickly turned to the security cameras, and that's when the impossible detail emerged. The footage showed Brian entering the bar, but no footage showed him leaving. The Ugly Tuna had only one main entrance, the one monitored by cameras. Other exits existed, but they were back doors leading into construction areas. Not only dangerous, but also tightly secured. Investigators searched the entire building, the bar, the basement, the construction site. Nothing. No blood, no struggle, no trace of Brian. It was as if he walked inside and never came out. Over the years, theories piled up. Some believe Brian left through one of the construction exits and vanished into the night. But why would he abandon his wallet, his credit cards, and his life without a word? Others suspect foul play. Could someone inside the bar have harmed him? But again, no evidence. Then, the darker theories. Some suggest Brian's grief pushed him to end his life. But his family insists he had plans. He was excited about his future. And then, there are the stranger possibilities. Brian's cell phone rang for months after his disappearance. Friends claimed it would ring before going to voicemail, as if still active. One call even pinged a cell tower nearly 14 miles away. But police later said it was likely just a glitch, a result of the provider keeping the line active. Still, to those holding out hope, it felt like Brian was alive, somewhere. Years turned into decades, but the mystery only deepened. In 2020, the FBI released an age progression photo showing what Brian might look like today. Tips still trickle in, but nothing has ever been confirmed. Even creepier, Brian's father, Randy, searched for answers until his death in 2008. At his funeral, someone posted online with the username Brian Shaffer. a cruel hoax that authorities were never able to fully trace. Today, nearly 20 years later, the disappearance of Brian Shaffer remains one of America's most baffling unsolved mysteries. How does a man walk into a bar and never walk out? Do you think Brian Shaffer slipped away to start a new life? Or was something far darker at play? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like this video if you want more mysteries uncovered.